What is this? What? What? What did I find? Kristen! Get the archaeology tools. I think I found something.
What archaeology tool?
Okay, let's start off by taking a look at the components in this game. Let's just go through what all you get in the box. You get these sets of die. Basically, there are 3 6-sided die, and then an 8-sider and a 4-sider. And every player is going to get their own set of these die. They picked really cool colors, and the die are really nice quality in this game. So those are really fun to play with. You're also going to get a ruins deck. So this is your ruins deck. There are 25 ruins in here. You're going to remove some of those in the base game, but basically these are at the core of the game. You're going to be trying to claim these. You're also going to get the end of age cards deck, which is basically just 5 random. It's going to be randomized how the game might end. This is the Delver deck. If I have a complaint about this game, it's that these Delver deck cards are the mini size cards. I really wish they would have just gone with a standard size card, because those do actually get used quite a bit. And then you also have your wonders. So these are randomized and placed out for you to get different kind of like almost player powers that you can get by satisfying the criteria on the bottom of these cards. More about those later. You also have a greater and lesser wonder. These hexes here are the greater and lesser wonders, which are randomized points that you can get if you satisfy the needs to build those later. These hexes up here they match those named wonders that give you kind of a player power. So that's roughly the components. You also get a nice little scoring guide, which is helpful. And then finally these stones, which is another big part of the game too. Comes in a nice little canvas bag. And then there's just a ton of these little stones that you just randomize by just drawing them out. So that's the components of the game. For setup, we're going to put all the stone tiles in this bag. And they're all in there. And they get randomized. But they're all in there. The stones are all in this bag. This is a good chance for us to take a look at this Delver deck and just kind of see some of the things that are in there. So, Restoration. That's a pretty powerful one. It lets you reroll all of your dice. And you'll see why that's powerful in a little bit. Ancient Map. This turn, you may re-roll your excavation roll. So that's a phase of the game where we're rolling die. There's several different kinds of cards in here. A new discovery. Give +2 to any die already on a ruin. So that's pretty cool because you can make a ruin score. And then you could kind of like get it to score for you too by doing that in certain situations. Reading the stones, give the next die rolled this turn 1 +1 or -1. So you can play these cards during your turn, and they're going to help you with a lot of the things. There's I think 10 different types of cards in this game. We won't go through all of them. But there's a lot of different types of cards, and there's 38 total cards in the deck. So some of the cards I think are probably a little more rare than others. I think there are 10 different unique cards in this game. 38 cards in total in the deck. So some of the cards are a little more rare than the others, but around 3 to 4 copies of each card, I believe. So each of them giving you slightly a game-breaking kind of thing where you do something out of the ordinary by playing one of those cards. And that's actually the first phase of the game is called the Delver phase when you play these cards. But the setup on that is just simply shuffle them, give everybody 2 to start the game. And then we're going to continue getting more. So let's say this is a 2-player game. These are secret knowledge. I would have these 2. Let's say Kristen was playing against me. She'd have these 2. So we would each have 2 cards that kind of give us a little game-breaking thing at the beginning of the game. Next, we're going to shuffle these ruins cards. So we'll just say I already shuffled these. And every player gets one of these ruins cards. They're going to keep it face down. And the reason why that matters is because they're different colors. So these ruins are all just different colors. So when we score at the end of the game, we want sets of these cards. So if I have a single card of one type, I get 2 points. If I can get, several, if I can get, 5, I'm going to get 30 points. So I want to get a bunch of the same color, and having one secret one that no one knows kind of makes it cool that I know I have an extra of a certain color. So we're going to give everybody one of these cards to keep face down. Then I'm also going to remove 5 of these and take them out of the game. These go back in the box. The rest of these have been shuffled. I'm also going to shuffle these cards. These are the end of age cards, and take one of those, randomly placing it on the bottom of the deck. Once I've gotten this shuffled and randomized and put that end of age card at the bottom there, I'm going to go ahead and take 5 of these cards and place them out for everyone to see. And we're going to look at the anatomy of these cards here for just a second here. So I have several different colors here, and then they all have numbers kind of on the top, right? So that claim number is what we really are focused the most on probably. But the color is going to be important. And then that hex in the bottom is going to be pretty important too. So let's take a look at that a little bit closer. 17 is the number in the top here. This is a black card, or I guess maybe dark purple if you want to call it that. And then at the bottom we have a 3 here. So what that means is that this card's going to break, or it's going to score when it gets a total die value of over 17 on it. It also means that it gets 3 random stones placed on it from the bag. So what happens is, as we're playing the game, we're rolling these die one at a time. So let's say I rolled this die and I got a 2. Well, I would place this 2 on here. Now, one of the neat things about this game is if I roll a 1, 2, or a 3, I get to take one of these stones. And we'll talk about what the stones do here in a minute. But that's cool because I get to take one of those stones. So as the game goes on, let's say that blue player is playing with me and they rolled an 8, okay? And then I rolled a 5. So now all of a sudden, look at the total value there. We have 15. This one's getting really close to scoring. So now the game keeps going on, and we'll say we had the third player that is yellow. Yellow just dumped their 3 there because they wanted another stone. Well, there were still some stones there. But now look at this. We have 5 plus 5 is 10 plus another 8. So what's happened now is that this is scored because it has 18 and the barrier was 17. So the person with the highest individual die, now note individual die. So let's say I had a 6 and a 5 here instead, and it scored that way. One common mistake that might happen is you might think 6 plus 5 is 11. I have that on 11. There's 11 represented by green there, and 8 only by blue. So you might think that the green would get it because they have a higher sum, but it's not. It's the individual die. So the individual die are much more powerful in this game. So these guy, you get a consolation prize. You get to take Delver cards for each one of those that you had on there that you didn't win. You get to take a Delver card, and then the highest die, he gets to take this card into his tableau. A new card would come out, and we do that all over again. And this one's, a low value. Only has 2 stones on it though, so I'd put 2 random stones out on it. And that's kind of how we do the die rolling and the claiming cards kind of part, which is about half of the game. These named wonders are a really cool part of this game. They give you like slightly game-breaking powers or like a player power, or they let you score points at the end of the game. We're going to start with the Temple of Clarity. That lets you, for every blue stone in the tableau in front of you, you get an extra point. The Harmonious Columns allow you to put -1 on your die rolls. So if you rolled a 4, for example, you can make it into a 3, which then allows you to claim a stone, which is important. The Shattered Edifice lets you reroll 4s and 5s. That's really powerful too, because 4s and 5s are probably the least useful numbers in this game. They aren't going to win runes for you, but they aren't going to get you stones either. So those are going to get to be rerolled. The Temple of Fate is going to be like the Temple of Clarity. It's going to score for black stones, and the Flame Eternal, or the Eternal Flame, I guess is what it is, allows you to get Delver cards even when you don't have a die present when a rune scores. So these are just 5 of the... There's so many other in there, but you only put out a number of these equal to the player count plus 2. So based on what we have out here right now, we would have 1, 2, 3 players plus 2. So this would be a 3-player game. Then also these little chits here, these hexagon-shaped chits, match up with these. So you're going to find the ones that match, and you're going to place them out. So here is the Flame Eternal, and then you'd be able to put this into your tableau when you got that. Now, the way how you get these is you meet the qualifications on the bottom. So this one says you need to have 3 black stones plus 3 others. Notice there's always 6 in there, because as we talk about how we build our kind of tableaus in front of us, there's always going to be 6 stones in a set. And you'll understand why here in a second. Before we get into the best part of the game, we need to talk about one last aspect of this game. These are greater wonders and lesser wonders. So these are going to be wonders that you can build that don't have specific like color requirements. They just have requirements. And this one just requires that you have 6 matching stones. All 6 have to be the same. This one says you just have to have an encapsulation of 6 stones. They can be any color. So when you go to score these, a greater wonder is going to get you between 6 and 8 points. A lesser wonder is going to score you between 2 and 4. So there's really 2 ways to get points in this game. Getting collections of ruins in a certain color and doing these wonders. How do we get these wonders? Let's get to that right now. So remember those stones on these ruins, and when we rolled a 1, 2, or a 3, we got to take one of these? That's really what's kind of cool about this game. So this is going to be my pretend play area here. Let's just get this out of here so it's not confusing. So this would be a stone that I claimed, the first one I get in the game. And as the game goes on, I'm claiming more and more stones. So let's say I claimed this stone. Well, now I'm going to place that adjacent to that one. And I claimed this other yellow stone. And I got a blue stone. And I keep going. And I can build off of this too. So let's say, I want that red one to go up there because I have another red one there already. This black one can go here. And this blue one can go here. So now I've put together 6 stones and I have a little opening in the middle there. So since these aren't all the same color, I can claim a lesser wonder. If I look at my named wonders, they all require I have at least 3 of the same stone in there, and I don't have 3 in there of any particular stone. So I'm kind of out of luck there. So what I would do though is I would take one of the lesser wonders. I would take a lesser wonder. It's got a random point value on it, and that goes right in there. I have a lesser wonder built. And the game continues going on. I keep claiming those stones by rolling poorly or rolling low, which actually isn't poorly. It's actually kind of awesome. So let's say I do get this going here. I'm building off of this one here. So I would like to do this. I'm not going to be able to get all of the same color, but I got 5 of the same color. So now if I look up at the named wonders that I had in this game, I have the harmonious columns. It requires I have 3 red stones, which I have 5, so I've definitely met the requirement of that. And I could take the harmonious columns, and that is now mine. So now I have that power as well. I can give a -1 to any roll. So I might be able to get better at claiming stones now. And a bunch more red stones came out, let's just say. A lot more red stones are coming out. So I got to think here about how this would work. I'm going to place these stones, and once you place a stone, it's done. You can't move it unless a card tells you otherwise. So there's not a way to rearrange. But look at that. I got 6 red stones there. Now I'm able to claim, yep, a greater wonder. So this is going to be something I'm building in front of me, kind of a cool spatial kind of thing almost with it, that I'm claiming those stones. So you roll well, you get those cards, you get sets of cards for scoring points, you get these little arrays, and you get, a chance to score points from that. Some other things for scoring that we need to consider are you can also get 5 points for having one of each color of ruins. If you build more than 3 wonders, you get 5 points as well. Plus you get the points from the wonders. So there's 10 points right there. Plus I would get whatever other unique scoring things I would get from other cards I get, other like named wonders. Plus I would get for my set collection. So let's say I had a set of 3 blues that I got. I'm scoring 12 points on that. And maybe that's what people knew about. Maybe people didn't know about the fact that I had another blue that was my hidden card. So now I have 4. And I'm scoring 20 points off of my set there. So the scoring's all kind of even. There's definitely multiple paths to victory in this game. That's about as decent a summary as I think I can do for this game. It's not too complex. It's a pretty fun little game. And now let's get back into the studio and I'll give you some thoughts on how I like this game. So that should give you a rough overview of how to play the game. So what do I think of this game? Well, let's get right into it right now. Some highlights here. The art in this is really appealing. It reminds me of Monument Valley, the critically acclaimed mobile app for its beauty, Monument Valley. This game reminds me a lot of the art style in that game. So I really think it's good. The appeal of this game, it's broad. Everybody's going to like this game, I think. It's just got enough cool mechanisms in it to keep gamers involved. but it's simple enough to engage your family members that aren't necessarily gamers. So this is going to be one that's pretty broadly appealing to about everyone. It has a really cool use of dice in this game as well. So I really do like how the dice get used in this game. I like how they have it so it's like the high and the low rolls both work for you. And then you can mitigate those mid rolls too by getting certain monuments or getting certain powers. So I just think it's neat how the dice get used in this game. And every time you roll that die, you're going to go, okay, I can do something with this. I don't need to roll, an 8 every time. So kind of cool. I think it's a neat mechanic. How the mechanics all go together in this game is really neat too. So I think it has a cool like set collection, like almost trick-taking feel with dice. But then it has this like other set collection of these stones, and then the spatial part of it. And the spatial part, I know a lot of people can't do games like Baron Park. They can't do games from Uwe because they just can't rotate and place things in their mind. Well, these pieces just fit together in only one way. So it's really kind of a set collection thing, but the way how they use that spatial, like the shapes kind of thing, makes it so that way you can make your sets work together, which is kind of neat. But it doesn't require a lot of like spatial awareness or spatial like manipulation to be able to play this. So I think that the set collection thing with this spatial thing in there is going to be a hit with most people. That, and I guess I call it tile laying here in this. It kind of is tile laying a little bit. So I think all that goes together really, really well. And I don't know. I just think it makes a very positive overall game experience. So here at the Board Game Mechanics, we don't just say it's good, it's bad. At least I don't on my reviews. I like to try and like give you guys these categorical breakdowns. So the accessibility of this game, I'm going to give this one a most rating. Like almost anybody probably can play this game. I mean, this is something that, you might not be able to play with really young children or with, I don't know. There's just certain family members maybe that wouldn't be able to pick this up. But for the most part, people understand how to roll die and how to do claims on things, do some basic math. So I think most anybody can play this game. The theme on this game, I think the theme on this one's for everybody. I mean, it's kind of cool. You're unearthing old civilizations or old things that you've from the past that you're trying to recuperate. And so, I mean, like, I don't know. I guess really the theme, to be honest, isn't super present. It's almost abstract, but the theme's fine. It's not going to put anybody off. So I think that's kind of cool. The replayability, because of all those monuments in this game, and because of the fact that these stones and how you array them and things like that, I think that the replayability in this game is really high. I think that this is something that you're going to keep coming back to. And it might not be something that you play 5 nights a week for months and months, but it's something that I think as often as this would get an opportunity to be played, it would feel fresh enough all the time. And for the crowds that you're going to play this with, I think that as often as they're going to want to play games, you're gonna have a crowd to play this with and feel like it's an okay game to play. And the rules aren't too bad. So like this is one of those games too where the rules are simple enough that you'll be able to break it out once a month, once every 3 months, and remember pretty much how to play the game. So I know that some games that I enjoy playing on a 3-month basis, I need to break the rules out and read them for 20 minutes before I can get going at it. This game's simple enough that I think that you'll be able to just remember. It's a lot of fun because, like I said, you can use those die every turn. You're always able to do something with your die and always able to do something that is going to be constructive. The design and the art, I'm giving a 5 out of 5. And I don't give that a ton, but the graphic design on this is perfect. It's minimalistic. The way how they word things on the cards makes sense. The symbols, the like matching stones versus just any stones, and how the set collection symbols work is perfectly great. The little hex that tells you how many stones go out there, perfectly great. So I think the graphic design on this is really great, and the minimalistic, again, Monument Valley type style, critically acclaimed art is pretty awesome. So this game, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I've only given one game ever a 5 out of 5. You'll have to check the playlist below to see which one that is. But I've only ever given one game a 5 out of 5. So I'm giving this one very high praise. I think this game's excellent for what it is. I don't know that this is going to be a top 50 game for me or even a top 100 game necessarily, but it's a very good game for what it is. I just objectively think it's a great game for just bringing out for a bunch of different groups. I think it's a game that you could be able to play with many situations, and it's not going to be overwhelming to anyone. It's going to be a really great different type of gateway game almost. So I give this game 4.5 out of 5, which makes this game Board Game Mechanics accepted. So This is also pushing towards Hall of Fame material. We haven't put something in our Hall of Fame for a while. I don't know if this is going to be the one or not. I need to get Jason's opinion on it, get Jason to play it, and see what he thinks. But I think for this being a just cool gateway game, it certainly is Board Game Mechanics accepted, and I've really enjoyed playing it, and I hope you do too. I would not hesitate to suggest this game to people who are looking for a gateway type game with some dice, some set collection, some tile placement. It just does it as well as any game out there. So 4.5 out of 5. Board Game Mechanics accepted. Check it out. If you get an opportunity to play it, I certainly would take it. So anyway, I've been Joel. If you've enjoyed this, we do have a podcast that we do. Look for the link down below to get to our main website where you can see all of our stuff. And we're trying to do more reviews all the time. So if you are a board game industry person and you want to contact us, you can do that on our website as well. Get some review stuff up for you guys. We're always looking for content, especially in the summer months. I'm a school teacher, so I have time. So thanks for watching. I've been Joel, and keep gaming.